Hey guys, so if you want to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video. If you want to follow me on Instagram and look at my Amazon storefront, I will leave everything linked down below in the description box. That was my water bottle, in case you wanted to know that like crackle sound. I will say this was all from high school, and this was literally a few years ago, so I don't remember a lot of these details. So that's why it's kind of gonna be like very like choppy and all the details. The first one is very short and simple. It was Valentine's, the week of Valentine's, and we had this thing where you could go inside the store, and the store would sell coffee and like food and like drinks, and it was also a place where you could buy like t-shirts, water bottles, like keychains or stuff like, and stickers, which had like the high school logo branded on it, basically, where you could rep the school, and so it's like nice and all, but the problem with that is it wasn't open every single day, and it would only open for a short amount of time, and then it would close down, and then it would open for lunch, and then it would close down, and half the time, I literally could not tell, like, when it would open. There was a schedule, obviously, but I would always forget, and I never took a picture because that was dumb of me. I actually don't know if there was schedule actually on the door. I don't know if they added that later or if I completely like forgot. But I remember asking my friend at the time, like asking her like, why isn't it open every single day? Like, when can I go? And she was like, I believe she said something along the lines. It was like Tuesdays when it opens, or like a Wednesday, or like a Thursday or Friday. I think it was like open 2 or 3 times a week. I forgot. Anyways, getting back to the actual story here is I went in one day when it was open, and I bought this like candy bar thing for like $1, and it was really annoying because I never got it back because they never delivered it to my friend, and instead of doing like rose carnations back in elementary when I was in school, your parents or your friends or whatever would buy a person a rose, and then when Valentine's Day it would come and they would deliver these roses. It was like so cute and all. I did get like a rose delivered one time, and that was like my only one time I ever got it from like someone else and not like my parents who bought it for me. Anyways, so because of that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a cute idea like for high school, you know. Obviously, I could do something myself, but I was like, oh, this is cute, you know, they have it delivered to your class, whatever. And so because of that, you got to like write a cute message. I did mess up my message because it was a Sharpie, and I wrote a little too big, and the Sharpie was not like a ballpoint Sharpie, it was like the normal kind, and so because of that, I messed it up. And also, I forgot the room number, so I understand why, but I remember the teacher's name, and so it was, I'm not gonna say her name, but I wrote her name, like, Mrs. blah 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 room, since I didn't know what, like, room number my friend was in, and I think it's because of that, but maybe that's, and I understand why, because they couldn't like deliver it to her because I never specifically put in like a 1, 2, 3 type of number. I said a name, but like clearly you could probably like see the name, like maybe on the opposite end of the school. Not really the opposite end, but it was like a cooking class for her, and so there was like a kitchen, and then there was inside the kitchen you could go see a classroom, and so because of that I didn't know the classroom number. I just only know that it was like a kitchen, and it didn't say a number. So anyways, so salty about that. I just, I'm so mad that she never got it. I was like, oh, still angry about it. I'm not really angry, I'm just more like salty about it. Next one is that I was in theater. A lot of these are my theater ones. Freshman year also, I did theater for half a semester because I realized it was too hard and I hated it. This was the reason why I hated it, because it was too hard and I could not handle it. I thought it was going to be like really easy, and I realized, no, it was not easy. So I had to do this monologue, and I did this monologue about elephants, and from a random ass book that this theater place theater place, that this class like holds these books where it has like a bunch of like poems or monologues or whatever. And so I picked one, and I had to like find like a really long one, and I was trying to find not a long one but a short one, but not too short. I never found one that was short. This was still freaking long. It was like 2 pages long. But for me, I can't remember that because I have like really bad short-term memory loss. And also, that is a lot of time to memorize. I think you only had like a week to memorize. Maybe a week, or like maybe a few days to memorize. I feel like she would have given us like a week. I know most people would do that, but for me, I never ended up doing that. So I got to this point of like barely reaching like a full, maybe like 2 paragraphs, like a paragraph and a half, barely a half. And so when I got to that point, I was on stage, I had to like say it. I choked. I literally said that's all I did. It was like, I forgot. I believe, I'm pretty sure I said to her, I forgot the rest. And she was like, well, like, try to remember it or something like that. And it was like, I don't remember in my head. It was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. And it was on stage. It literally felt like I was on there for like 10 minutes. Probably not. Maybe it was like 10 minutes I was on that. It felt like 10 minutes, honestly. But I know I was on the stage for a long ass time. And then it got to the point where my teacher was like, you can come down now, I believe. And it was like, okay. And so as soon as that, I literally wanted to like go cry. I don't know if I ended up like crying or not, but I literally felt so embarrassed. And then the most annoying thing is, because I think it was like the next 2 days or like the next week or so, we had, like, she had everyone like recorded all these like, recorded all these. She recorded all our monologues so we could look back on our monologues and like fix the problem, you know, like talk, like how we talk and stuff like that. So because of that, we never got to mine, which thankfully we never did. But one student that was a really good looking guy, I didn't have a crush on him, like I was like crush on him, but obviously not like a big one. And he said to like another student in the class was saying something of like me, where one student like choked on it, and it's like, and I heard him, and it's like, oh, he never said my name, he just said one person choked. Oh no, maybe it was me. I don't know if he said my name. Anyways, I'm getting way too invested in the story. I literally did not do anything in that. Moving on to the next one is, we had this cookie exchange, also my freshman year. It was in December, and so all of us made cookies, and we were supposed to exchange it, show people the rest of it. So I did that. My dumb brain, I guess I should have done this on a sticky note instead of the actual baggie I was bringing it. I wrote, don't eat these. And the reason why I did that is because I made these, put them in the freezer, and I didn't want any of my siblings to eat it. So because of that, I was like a little worried. And so because of that, when I went in school the next day, like not the next day, when I went into school, when it was time for me to exchange those cookies, no one ended up taking them, because what did they see? The message, don't eat these, on the baggie, because my brain decided not to either switch them out for a new one or write them on a sticky note. So I still felt bad about that. Yeah, I feel dumb about that. That was a dumb Brenna move. Next story is that this one was, also in theater class. This one was about, we were this really stunning, beautiful girl. We were a group with like her 2 friends and another girl and a guy, but mainly I was talking to this main girl, and we were talking about sex, and I was like, oh my gosh, and stuff like that. I just wanted to know because I was so interested, and so I mentioned to her, like, have you ever stuck a sea sponge up your hoo-ha on your period if you wanted to have period sex? And she literally straight up looked at me as soon as I said that. I felt like in her head she was like, oh my gosh, shut this girl up, is she so stupid? But she never said anything, but I literally thought she did. Not my brain. I thought she was saying that to me, with her face, basically. And so she was like, I have never done that, I don't know what you're talking about, or like what you're watching or something like that. I was like, she was basically saying that was like so stupid. And I was like, oh, I just heard it from watching a YouTuber who used to be a porn star who would always do that, and her like other porn star friends would always do that when they were on their periods because, you know, they needed to create their job. And so I thought, like, why not? Wouldn't like a normal person do that in case they didn't want, like want to like use a towel or something? I don't know. This was back when I knew about it. I knew a lot about sex, but I didn't know a lot about sex. Like, I still knew a lot, but anyways. So because of that, I still feel cringy, and I was like, oh my gosh, Bruno, why did I do that? Next story was, I was in my food and nutrition class, and so this was a group project about like a grilled cheese sandwich or a regular sandwich, I don't know, involving something involving cheese. All I know is you had to make the cheese something and make it look very appetizing because it was all about like marketing and stuff. I'm pretty sure like how it looks. And so we had like 3 different judges who were like teachers. And so they would come in and judge us on how the sandwich looked, how it tasted, and all that stuff. So I was in the group and I was saying, hey, we should make 2 different sandwiches. I didn't realize you couldn't make 2. So I just kept going on. I literally felt like I was going on and on and on. It was probably more like maybe like a minute and a half, close to 2 minutes of me just like, okay, actually that was like, it's probably like a minute of me just straight up talking about this, like, sandwiches. All I was trying to explain is like we should cut up the sandwich like in half and let the cheese like ooze out of it, like where it's like stretchy and stringy and where it looks very appetizing. And I could not get through that, and they were literally all staring at me like I felt like they were saying, shut up, you do not know anything. And since then, I never talked up about like an idea like that ever again. Not because someone said like don't ever do that. It was just like that embarrassment of like no one understands what I'm saying. I have no idea how to do this, and it was just so annoying. I literally felt so stupid. So, next one, I believe this is like the last one. I have like a paper, so that's why I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Yeah, I believe so. So this one was really short, simple. I was in history class, and this is like a class where you could watch movies, and at the end or like during the movie, you have questions to answer about the history movie you were watching. So this time we had a substitute teacher, and I stupidly decided to walk funny, meaning I had these shoes that were like boots, and it had like a thicker heel and not a skinny stiletto. It was like a thicker one, and so I decided, why not like tip my heels back like this and walk like that. Like, obviously I'm going to like fall down, so I ended up like falling and not like oh no, like I injured myself. Thankfully I didn't. I fell, just slipped right under my feet, almost knocked my head into the like I don't know if it was like concrete or granite, not granite, like concrete type of tile or floor, and thankfully I never hurt myself. But let me tell you, it was hella embarrassing because there were a bunch of like, there was like one guy that was really good looking, I thought, and then his personality just turned me off of it. Anyways, so because of that, I was like, wow, that was embarrassing, but thankfully I was perfectly fine. So, I hope you guys liked this video. I know this video was maybe a little bit too long. It was a lot of me ranting and not knowing a lot of these details. Again, because it was so long ago and high school was a giant, big, fat, painful memory for me. So I just brought everything out. I tend to do that with anything in my life because it wasn't very too much important in my life. So, I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys!